Yeah, that is not a good time to open the door. There's all of that behind it. Go back over here. Welcome back to episode 18 of Doomworld, you beautiful people. This episode we are starting off and we are in a pretty good place. Last episode we were able to bring back Churro, Steinberg and one other who I have just managed to forget who it was. But details, they're all back. So that was our main priority for quite a while, was resurrecting our 3 colonists. They are now back, which is super good. They were some of our start colonists, and the game has gone on since then, so their stats are not as good as we remember them being. So when we were looking at Churro, when we saw their stats, they were not nearly as good as what we thought. So if we look at Churro here, good at shooting, not very good construction, okay melee and artistic. Realistically, not great. Steinberg, on the other hand, pretty much good at everything but can't medical and can't social. And then we were also able to bring Owen back. So Owen was one of our start colonists and has a whole bunch of implants. Does have a bite scar on his left leg, but he has some very good stats around the board. So we are really happy that Owen's back with us. That's good. We might just drop Churro out now because, well, Churro's not very good basically, so keeping them around might actually not be worth it, and we'll be able to pick up a better colonist. Down here, this area is now stripped out, so we are going to start putting in some beds, and this area is going to be our new prison, and then the old prison that is here we're going to tear apart, and we will chuck in a couple bedrooms, because we are now out of bedrooms, and if we start putting them everywhere else, they are not going to be able to reach the tables, and we're going to want to move the stone processor down into this room here, I think. As we have a bit more tech now and more resources, we are going to put in electric stone cutter tables. And we're also going to fill this area full of the skips. And with these skips, we're going to be able to store way more stones in them, so they're going to be easier to access and quicker. So we're going to have a better production run. If I can put them in the right place, that'd be super useful. So that's all the stone chunks will go into there. That's going to be most of what we need. And then I think we'll chuck another one in there, and we're also going to put down another smelter. It's one off, which is a little bit annoying, but I'm sure we'll survive. And then we'll just put another couple smelters in here, because we are starting to get a crazy amount of steel slag coming in. That steel slag is really worth breaking down because you get about 15 a pop for it, and that is just one too short, unfortunately. And that will just make it a little bit less efficient, but details. And we might be able to put another smelter in there. So we now have a new smelting room and a stone cutting room. The stone cutter tables we are going to now destroy up here, and we are going to turn this into 2 more bedrooms for our colonists. One of them will have a solar controller in the room, but the rooms are a little bit bigger, so it should be a massive problem. As we are sorting this out, what we might as well do is change the walls across to granite. And we're just going to seal it off all the way and then start figuring it out later. We'll leave the doors open so they can break it down in the meantime. We just went around and we sorted all of the allocation for what is going to go into these skips to there, so that's cool. We don't need to worry about that. That was going to look after itself, and now we just got to set some builds up. So granite, do forever, details, and we'll make it into a limited radius so they don't run off across the map. And the only other stone we have on this map tile is marble, so that's going to need to be put in as well, which is going to be super useful. Cool. They're both done. Copy, and then paste that onto there. And now we're going to have way more efficient stone production and a whole bunch more smelting facilities. With the 3 new smelters, all we've done is we've just set them so that they're going to prioritise smelting down the metal slag first and then go on to everything else. And talking about the metal slag, we have a whole bunch over here from the mechanoid ship, which we're going to need to go in and shoot in the face in a sec. And we're going to need to get some more granite together, so let's start hauling that across. We also have a whole bunch of steel slag down here. 2 mortars, which are going to be nice as well for us because of components. We're changing this area now into the rooms. Turns out we need to take down that solar controller because it only gives you half of the room space, which is a little bit of a shame, not massive issue. And we'll put in 2 advanced beds there. So I think we're only going to need 1 more bed, and that should be all of the colonists with rooms, which should be pretty sweet. And we have Tactical Unit Delta. They're attacking within the upcoming 12 hours. Tactical Unit Delta is the Federation, and those guys are pretty dangerous to say the least. But they will drop a bunch of the foam, which is what we're going to need to make these extra hospital beds. And seeing as we've seen the hospital, that does need some more lighting in, because that makes a big difference to surgery success. We'll need to figure out what we are going to do with the TV, because we do have a bunch of the big flat screens, and those will be a bit better for keeping the pawns entertained. So we might have this room here, take the hospital, make it longer, then have the TVs in the back so they can hit the TVs in the front. But that's something we'll need to sort shortly. And it looks like we've just about hit winter, because all of our plants have started dying off. And hopefully all of this goes, and our pawns still haven't gone around to dealing with that. And if we have a look around, we've inspired trade by Jupiter, which is cool, work frenzy under Nora, inspired research under Tolga. We've already done the tactical unit Delta and the brawling frenzy under Cornetto. And I'm going to need to go through and sort out the work priorities, and there's a whole bunch of them, so I'll be right back with you. Just gone through all of the work priorities. This should get the base moving a little bit better now, and it turns out we do have quite a few gardeners, well, farmers, so once they start to go into swing, we should be in a good place to start processing everything down. So once the next harvest comes through, I don't think we'll have the same issues as we had this time around with that blight. And is it going to be worth it? It's not really going to be worth it to send everyone else out and start trying to get lots of crops. We might see if we can get those potatoes, but that is going to be about it. And seeing as winter has come, I think this might be a good time to start looking into turning into hydroponics. We got a masterwork advanced steel bed, which is quite nice. That's a pretty good room. And what we will need to do is delete this door there, and as we are starting to transition, let's put some steel tiles in there so we can move away from the marble. So marble does give one to the beauty of the room, which is super useful, but still gives you a cleanliness bonus, and a room with a little bit of dirt, even if it has marble flooring, is a lot worse than a steel room with a little bit of dirt in it, because pawns prefer it when it's clean than when there's dirt in there. So that works out pretty well. Steel tiles work even better for that though. Anyway, tactical unit Delta is now here, and they're arriving by drop pod. And it looks like they're arriving up in the corner. Decent sized group. And yeah, that is cool stuff. I do really like the artwork of these units. And they're all coming down. These big boys are super tough, so we're going to need to be careful of those. Get everyone drafted, and going to need to try to re-figure out these defensive positions, because there is now just too many of us, so we are going to have to expand the kill zone a fair amount. But with the field of fire we're going to have, well, the weight or the rate of fire that we have, we should be able to blast through that super quick. We will need to get Owen to start going up here, because he has a whole bunch of issues. Oh no, he doesn't. Wrong person. Tolga, why did you go around the top? Always will. Oh, Tolga should be fine. Tolga's pretty quick. He's doing a nice amount of damage, and should be through those doors before they chase. If she's not, we'll just pull a small group round and give her some cover and fire so she can push through. Yeah, that is not a good time to open the door. There's all of that behind it. So it's back over here into some sort of defensive position. Awesome. Cargo's now coming down as well. And actually, whilst that's happening, before we forget, because this has happened a couple times now, let's get a little rat run set here so we won't forget. Cool. Now back to the fight. Okay, those orbs are super dangerous. Crazy splash damage on those. We're just going to move that tight, and every time the orb starts coming forward, move back a little bit before it hits us, if I can micro properly. Okay, not many of them left. I reckon we just push in, try to overwhelm them. We have a bunch of people that we are going to need to pick up. And like centipedes, useless in close combat those guys. So we can just distract them, then we should be pretty good. They're some of the tougher things that we've fought so far. And the kill zone seems to be working alright. It does need to be a lot wider at the base though. You guys come along here. Focus your targets. Sweet, all done. Blue's down, Nynx is down, and Cargo's down. Not a big problem. Okay, that works out Okay, that really wasn't great. And we need more weapons and a bigger kill zone, which we can start working on right now. Hydroponics has now been researched. So what I'm thinking is we start stripping out the wind turbines and then putting in hydroponics into this area here. It means we don't need to worry about the winter. We also have the transparent roofing, so we don't even need to put a sun lamp in, and all we need to do is do a little bit of temperature regulation. We'll be sorted. So winning last battle, we got a bunch of sheep join, we got an infection on cargo, which we're not too worried about. Fixed stone roofs has been researched, so we can put fixed stone roofs on our buildings, which basically block drop pods, super useful. Hydroponics is done. Animal transport crash has come in, and it is a mega scarab, which someone we're not too interested in, and a frigate has landed. Small ship often found in A small ship often used in ground recon operations. It has minimal defences. When destroyed, mechanoid's presence on surface will be lowered. If it's left operational, it will contribute to the size of the mechanoid's attack parties. Slightly increases mechanoid presence. And we've also got mechanoids are going to obtain a critical mass and receive a hardware upgrade soon if you don't destroy their ships. Which yet again is something that we want because we fight better mechanoids and we get better stuff for it. And we still are looking at that prison camp, which is something that we kind of do want to do, but in the meantime I do need to send Flo off to get some more weapons because we're pretty much out and we need armour. Now I know this isn't the best thing to do because we spent a long time trying to get Churro back into the fight, but Churro is not super useful and is taking up valuable space in the bed, so we're going to get Churro to drop everything and we are going to send Churro on their way. Good knowing you, Churro. Have fun in the outside world. Bye bye. Fiance, friend, yeah. Oh, also a bunch of people don't like Churro. That is fine. Confirm. See you later, mate. Sprinklers have just been finished as well. So the cool thing about sprinklers is you can put them in the middle of all the hydroponics, and I think it's a 50% growth speed bonus. So you mix out of hydroponics and the growth speed of that, plus being able to grow all season round. Yeah, you can end up with some crazy amount of crops. So let's get on to doing that right away. Okay, this is the monstrosity of the hydroponic sprinkler combination that we have set up. Doesn't look too good, but with this setup we don't miss out on any space. So we can get a whole bunch of resources that all the plants will grow quicker, which naturally is super good. And we'll just add some doors in so people can get in and out nice and quickly. We're going to put the transparent roofing in. The transparent roofing costs 1 steel per tile, which is fine because that is still a lot cheaper than all of the hydroponics in that. And it looks like we probably should have finished hydroponics before because it just reset everything. Cool, we'll get back on that in a sec, but we have other things to do in the meantime. Once the hydroponics are all being set up, we will try to send a flow across because we are after more weapons. Well, basically we're always going to be after weapons and armor because we are missing 3 guns, it looks like, and armor gets broken occasionally, so if we can replace it, that will be super good. So we're just going to send Flo. She can carry a bunch of stuff, so I think we go and give her all of the silver and say 1,000 gold, and that should be her sorted. The hydroponics is now pretty much set, so we have 2 heaters, the 2 coolers, the transparent roofs, and all of the hydroponics in there. So this one is just going to be for rice. We'll make another one that's for potatoes, then hill root, and so on. So this bottom section here is going to be a food production, and also just keeps everything nice and close in. And now we can harvest all season round. Flo has arrived at the other UAC base. We do need some more advanced components because we are making those beds, and those beds are quite expensive. They don't have too much, but we will pick up 3 heavy rifles if we can afford this. So we picked up 2 heavy rifles. Unfortunately we can't afford a 3rd. No point getting many more prosthetics because most of the stuff we can heal and we need the money elsewhere. And we'll also have grabbed 4 advanced components. And we'll go back to the base. One more research that we do need is reinforced walls so we can get the embrasures. We're going to get the troop transport, Actually, let's get advanced electronics in the meantime. With basic electronics, that's going to be more recreation. And then we want the troop transport, which I believe is the Albatross. This means we're going to be able to go around the map and drop in straight on top of those mechanoid ships and start fighting them back. And in the meantime, let's start working on the big ship, because we need to get off this planet soon, because otherwise we have absolutely no chance of holding. Okay, the Mech hive has shown up, and I think this is the basic mechs, if I'm not mistaken. So let's jump into the location. Yeah, this is basic mechs. There aren't too many of them at the moment, and we can just go run out and shoot them. Okay, we'll get everyone drafted, put everyone down. Our little rat run on this corner is done, so if people get stuck on the outside of the base, they don't need to run around anymore. And we're going to put one in the bottom as well. That's just going to help move things along quite nicely. They don't seem to have anything too scary, so let's just go out, get in a fight, and take these out before they can get too close. When I say too close, they don't have any close combat things. So I mean just getting into the kill zone, because if we can save a couple bricks there, we might as well. And centipedes just don't do well out in the open with overwhelming firepower. So yeah, they're going down nice and quick. They've got one pikeman in the back, but the pikeman can't actually pierce our armour at the moment. So let's just move this way. So long as we just keep moving and shooting, keep a little bit spread out, centipedes really aren't that dangerous. It's when they get you pinned into a corner and then they can just keep shooting, that is when you run into a lot of difficulties against them. And yeah, like that, easily dealt with. We'll get everyone going off, and Wombat, you over here with me, mate, and you are going to blow up the uplink module. All the good stuff's taken. Yep, take that out. If you can shoot it, would be great. Cool, yeah, that's 2 mechanoid components there. We won't blow up the engine or the small engines just yet, because that will take out all of these goodies. We took the ship over there, and we've only got the reactor up here, so we might as well take that out. And then the second ship. And that is why we wanted everything clear before we took out. That is a big old explosion. Even hit Wombat through all of that. But a whole bunch of tasties right there. So, how are we looking? We've got hydroponics up. Prison area just needs a few things moved across. We've got some new rooms sorted. Waiting for Flo to come back with extra weapons and advanced components so we can get them done. We've defeated 2 raids, and now we're working on endgame because we've nearly got the ship done. And it turns out Elroy has joined us with a rat run put in. So with that, I think that's a good place to end the episode. So thank you very much for watching. I've been Konzi, and I'll catch you guys on the next one.